السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah. We seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from our sins and bad deeds. He who is guided by Allah indeed has been guided, and he who is misguided, only Allah Azza wa Jal can guide him. And I bear witness that there are no deities worthy to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the messenger of Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon Sayyidina Muhammad, upon his family, upon his companions, and upon those who follow his sunnah until the day of judgment. The best words are the words of Allah, and the best guidance is the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're about to enter into the month of Ramadan, the blessed month of the Quran, the month of Ramadan. And in Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed siyam, fasting. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed a certain action at a certain time. So it is a time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preferred over other time. And actions that is done for Allah and Allah alone. For Allah and Allah alone, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam informed us that all Amal ibn Adam, all the work of son of Adam for himself, meaning the acts of worship as well, except fasting is for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and except fasting is for me. And I will reward those who are fasting when I see them. Meaning that the reward is so special that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say anything about it, except that it is from Allah. That's how special it is. And in fasting, it is a training to get rid of the habits. Training to get rid of habits. What is a habit? Habit, that's something that you do without paying much attention to. Meaning that you do so frequently and it becomes part of who you are. So it is a training to get rid of habits. Not just drinking and eating and drinking, but it is also habits that is not acceptable as a Muslim to carry. The month of Ramadan is a time for us to get rid of these habits. Now, having a habit or having something that's attached to you, it is something could be very beautiful, but also could be dangerous. Meaning, if that which is attached to us, it is a distraction from the attachment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is dangerous. But if we can pick up the habit, so we can cling to habits that would bring us close to Allah, now that is a good thing. And Ramadan is the time to do so. Yaqub alayhi salam, when he got the news that his son Binyamin was held back in Egypt with the Aziz, who was Yusuf, but nobody knew about him yet. When Yusuf alayhi salam knew that Binyamin came to him with his brothers, he did not expose his identity to them, but he took his own brother with him as hostage, if you will, until they can come back, bring their family, come back, and so forth. So the brothers were worried about, how they're going to tell their father now about the loss of Binyamin. But the point here is, when they arrived to their father and they told him about Binyamin, what did Yaqub alayhi salam say? What did Yaqub alayhi salam, what was he occupied with? What was attached to his feelings during many years before? The loss of Yusuf alayhi salam. So as soon as they told him that Binyamin now is held back, he said, "Wa asafa ala Yusuf." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry and sorrow about and upon Yusuf." So what he remembered, that which is very close to him. What he mentioned, that which is very close to him. So in Ramadan, what is it that is close to us? And what is it that is close to us that we need to keep closer? And what is it that is not something to hold on to or to get busy with and letting go with? And what is it? What are and how to do so? Well, what is the first thing that we need to pay attention to? By the way, paying attention to something over and over again, that will be what you pay attention to when you are dying. When we are dying, all the habits that we have will be magnified. So that which is you pay attention to most of your life and focused on, it will be present at that time. The difficulty will be in paying attention to that which matters at the time of death. Because now, the time of weakness, the time of closing to death, it is a difficult time to get rid of habits and acquire new habits. So now, what is the habit that we need to really have, and we must have all the time? It is to focus on our attention. Okay, why we're doing what we're doing? What is our attention? Paying attention to our intention. Okay, and what I meant is intention, but paying attention to our intention. Intention is not quite focused, and also we're not quite focused. We do not have attention, meaning that we're not alert to that which is must be paying attention to. And that which is the most to pay attention to is intention. Because all matters at the day of judgment will be looked at according to intention. So that has to be looked at and focused on all the time. We're asking ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. In the month of Ramadan, we enter the month of Ramadan as we're growing up in our culture and so forth. We love the month of Ramadan. We love, the gathering. We love, the special food that's cooked. We love, Taraweeh and gathering at the end of the day and so forth. We love many things. But the intention sort of disappears there. The clarity of intention disappears in the joy of Ramadan, the joy of the experience. There's some clicking that is happening. I wish if it would stop. I don't know how old the person is clicking. It doesn't matter. I cannot see. I'm sorry. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says those who are playing with pebbles, they have no Jum'ah for them. It's just playing with the pebbles, meaning move your finger in the pebbles as not paying attention. Talking about attention and intention. So yes, we need to focus in the intention, our intention. Be alert, okay, that this is all in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what will take us away from this intention or paying attention to it? It is something either cling to us or something an obstacles that we have to pass. That which cling to us meaning something that we are used to. Okay? Something we are used to, meaning that what I just mentioned, the habits of Ramadan, we take it as a habit. But we don't quite focus, the intention of this is only Allah and to purify oneself. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ and لَعَلَّكُمْ تَرْشُدُونَ is not quite in our mind. And this is the purpose of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us Ramadan, لَعَلَّكُمْ fast in the month of Ramadan. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Right? And at the end of the ayat, Allah is saying لَعَلَّكُمْ تَرْشُدُونَ as well. Okay. In the ayah of وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So perhaps they reach taqwa and perhaps they reach rushd. This is what the goal that we are going to. And taqwa and rushd are internal actions. They are internal action. The taqwa ha huna is inside here. And the rushd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, rushd, حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم وكره إليكم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان أولئك هم الراشدون. الراشدون who are they? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give definition to rushd. A person who is rashid is the person who love and hate that which is should be loved and should be hated. That's it. So it's a work of the heart as well. What do you love? Allah made you love Iman or put in an ornament in your heart. And made you hate kufr, fusuq and isyan, that ill, disbelief and disobedience. So that is an action of the heart as well. So the month of Ramadan is the month of working with the limbs and to correct the inside. Externally doing work, hopefully internally we get the result. Okay. So now, the external work could be an obstacle. The external work could be an obstacle. And it is an obstacle with us most of the time. Meaning that, what does that mean? It means that you get busy with the movements, okay? And what things are like from the external. Like, like the Quran, we can look at the Quran and recite it and try to recite it beautifully and so forth. And that is rewarded and so forth. There is nothing, negative about this. But it is not going deeper. It is just in some surface. But because the Quran is a message after all. The Quran is a message. We need to look at the Quran this way. The Quran is a message. And the message, you need to read it, understand it, reflect on it, implement it, okay, and teach it. That is what the message is about. Okay. So again, that which could be an obstacle for us in Ramadan is the habits that we have, right? Like, what are we going to eat in suhoor? Okay, and what are we going to watch in the evening before we go to bed? There are certain things that we in the screen that we do and things like that. No, even if it is an act of obedience, it has to be clear that this is in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, imagine in prayer. In prayer, the prayer has to have hudur in it, to be present in the prayer, right? To be present in the prayer. Meaning that you know that you're making takbirat al-ihram, now they're standing and reciting and so forth. And then the khushu' comes after this, right? You are present in the movement, but you're trying to find khushu', try to be, you know that you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so forth. You're exerting an effort, but that could be also mechanical. Allahu Akbar and reciting and then you do it so much that you do no longer think of it anymore. And in prayer you can quickly pray, or you can make the prayer longer, make it shorter, make it quick, recite slow, recite fast, recite small surah, recite big surah, and so forth. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a window of dhuhr, right? After Fajr, after sunrise, until the meridian of the sun, when the sun becomes in the middle of the sky. That's a big window. And during that big window, you have a window to pray. You make your own window within this window of prayer. And that window that you are praying in, you can even make it shorter, because you are used to it, you're busy with other things, and you make it quickly, right? That is what? Getting busy with the movement and not getting busy with the substance inside what you're doing. In Ramadan is different. In Ramadan you cannot quickly fast. How can you quickly fast? The window is precise from dawn until sunset. And you cannot come, have your own window within that window and say, I'm going to fast this window quickly. No. That is from the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our training. Okay, to be abiding by Allah's time, Allah's window that gave us, not our window. Okay. And this is something actually we absolutely need, especially our youth, okay, that used to having things very quickly, and the window, so to speak, the screen in front of them, commands come here and there, and you move things quickly and this, and you're done with it, and that's it. And if it's something takes a little bit longer, or a little bit longer to hear, to listen to, a little bit to understand and so forth, you're not abiding by a time, it is your own time, you can squeeze things quickly in it. In Ramadan we don't do that, okay? But sometimes we want to do that. So what we do, we sleep most of the day. so we can get this, the time to pass and so forth, right? But again, it is what we're talking about is we need to get to habits to get rid of it, and to get to habits to bring it to ourselves. So being patient in this. So also we are a human being that can carry attributes that is not acceptable, or attributes that are negative. Okay? What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say when give us an advice in Ramadan when you are fasting and somebody getting you angry? So what do? You say, "Inni saim, inni saim, inni saim." You say 3 times, "I am fasting, I am fasting, I am fasting." What is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us here? You wanna answer quickly. You wanna touch the person. It depends on how angry you are, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Stop, okay, and take a breath." Okay, basically take a breath. When you say "Inni Saim" 3 times slowly, you're taking a breath. You're holding back, right? So that is what? That is changing that which is attached to you with a habit that you would like to acquire close to you, right? And each one of us needs to investigate that. What is it that they carry that need to get rid of? And what is it, and what to replace it with? Okay? So again, it is the rusum, what it is, looks on the outside. No, we go a little bit deeper, and how it is done. Okay, it is done not automatically. It is done with being conscious, paying attention. Now what is the intention and how we are executing this. So as a human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this formula to change. Now, in prayer, for example, you can have concessions. And sometimes we fool ourselves with concessions. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, if you cannot pray standing, pray sitting. If you cannot pray sitting, pray laying down, right? So now, who's going to measure if you can or you cannot? You are the one, right? You are the one. So you're gonna, say, "I'm tired today, so I don't feel like standing," and you sit as you pray, So there is a concession, but there is a concession that comes from lethargy. Okay? There's concession that comes from lethargy, for being lazy. Okay? And there's concession that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives when you are truly need that. And Allah loves for you to take His concession. So in Ramadan, if you are traveling or if you are sick, so you do not have to fast and make it up. But you make it up. It is not just gone. Okay? Unless it is permanent, then you pay, for every day, for iftar for a person and so forth. That's something else. Okay? So now in Ramadan, this is it, right? You cannot make concession in fasting. How are you going to make concession? How are you going to fast quickly? How are you going to? No, it is. You cannot, go around that. Okay? So you think about it, you see that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it as a training for us. It's so beautiful. And it is at the end of Ramadan, if you are truly with the intention, you're doing this in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a difference that will come. And again, the external fix the internal. Okay? The external fix the internal. But while we are doing externally, we need to pay attention to what we're doing externally. We need to be really, really fasting. Okay? Not just from the fast that we know of the food and drink, but the fasting for all the bad habits and acquiring the good habits. After a month, we're going to be a different person. Especially when we try to come together in Taraweeh. Especially when the last 10 nights. Especially when you are seeking, Laylatul Qadr. Especially when you feel like you caught it and you are in it and so forth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you and allowed you to be up at that night and so forth. That special feeling that you get of the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you taste it, then you don't want anything else. Okay? Or nothing can replace it. Nothing can replace it. But after Ramadan, what happened? We start to go back to our old habits. And it keeps creeping on us a little by little, little by little. But it will not do that if we are conscious of what goes on. If we are paying attention, are alert. Alert, we cannot talk enough about alertness. Because without it, nothing really falls into place. No result really comes. Because things, again, it's done with habits or things that you've done and you consciously know what you're doing. Know how you're doing it and why you're doing it. Then the result is there. Do we have to adjust the habits of Ramadan? Most of us, yes, we do. We get invited a lot in Ramadan and we invite others a lot in Ramadan. Is that recommended? Yes. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام. Okay. أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام وصلوا بالليل والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بسلام. Right? Say Assalamu alaikum to one another. Feed one another. Connect with your relatives. Pray at night where people are sleeping and you will enter Jannah in peace. So in Ramadan, yes, we fast in the way of Allah. Okay? And we can nafshi salam to one another. Okay? And we do connect to the relatives, right? And the friends. وَأَطْعِمُوا الطَّعَامُ, we feed the food and so forth. That is beautiful, right? But again, we do this out of habit. So we invite and we get together, but then the talk will be something way off. And the length of the talk and the visit and so forth will be way off. And then, the remembrance of Allah is sometimes we get to the point that, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that the gathering that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not mentioned in is like will be a gathering on a dead carcass of an animal, right? Something, foul like that. Okay. So it can go here and there. So we need to adjust in this. We need to teach ourselves and get to these habits and teach others as well. Yes, maybe sometimes we'll say, I cannot make it. I will not be able to make it. And sometimes you can go and then leave quickly. Or you can go and make sure that you adjust the subject that is being taught and so forth and so on. The remembrance of Allah is going to be there. All of this talk is about what? About an opportunity to change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a month of rahmah and helping us at the beginning by saying that is maradatul al-shayateen suffidu, the big shayateen are chained. So now you only have the little ones going working here and there, right? So you have a chance now to do some work as well and so forth. Right? So this opportunity, we take the opportunity always when it is about this dunya, when it's something for sale, something to be done in a certain. I remember, some of the youth, when there was something coming up on the screen, a new screen coming up on the Black Friday, as they say, right? And I know youth went and slept in the street. And when the Black Friday is? It is when it's really cold, but they stayed up all night because they want to be in the one on the door of the store. When they open, they run to because there is certain percentage off for the first number of item, and things like that. I don't know if still existing today or not, but I know youth that did this. Okay, so that opportunity Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us from the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, come to me, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us. And the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is inviting us into His rahmah. And we need to be alert about that which takes us away from it and that which brings us close to it. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فادعوه يستجب لكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين ورحمة الله للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أنت أعلم بما في قلوبنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم أنت أعلم بحاجتنا منا فاقضها لنا. اللهم أنت أعلم بسرنا وعلانيتنا فتقبل معذرتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من قلب لا يخشع، ومن نفس لا تشبع، ومن علم لا ينفع، ومن دعوة لا يستجاب لها. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين في سبيلك في كل مكان. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين في سبيلك في فلسطين. اللهم رحماك بضعفائهم ونسائهم وشيوخهم وأطفالهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نجعلك في نحور أعدائهم ونعوذ بك من شرورهم. اللهم أتمم نور إخواننا في الشام يا رب العالمين. اللهم أتمم لهم نورهم يا رب العالمين، واحفظهم من كيد الكائدين يا رب العالمين. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وقوموا إلى الصلاة يرحمكم الله.
Waiting for a second in the back line.
Okay.
Little bit ahead, yeah. Just stand a little bit ahead, that's it.
Okay, inshallah. Straighten the lines. Fill the left side, the deep side in the musalla first, so those who are coming will have room in front of them so they do not pass by anyone. And you can come all the way in the front. I stepped one step forward so you can still behind me and pray, on the line in the front, inshallah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي للفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واعتدلوا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعوا فله الأسماء الحسنى ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا وقل الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There are dates for sale and it's all for the masjid. So it is not from the masjid, it is for the masjid, inshallah. And you have lunch today as well? No lunch. Well, you can take dates for lunch, inshallah. And tomorrow we have a special session after Maghrib prayer, a session about zakah. Sheikh Hussein Afifi will be here, inshallah, giving us a lesson in the zakah, in the details of zakah and questions and answers and so forth. It's very important because it is one of the issues that every Muslim must know. We cannot afford not to know it. It's a must. It is farida on each individual. Okay, farda ayn on everyone that you must know about the zakah and so forth. And some food will be provided tomorrow as well, inshallah. Also, the door is open for sponsoring the nights of iftar during month of Ramadan. We have couple of nights, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday, the masjid will be having it, and also Sunday, if there is somebody who would like to sponsor that as well. But all the nights are open for sponsoring, inshallah. Okay, so you do not have to sponsor the whole night, not the whole night, but you can partially and so forth, inshallah. You go on the site and all the directions are given there, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. No.
I missed it. When is the
Zakah? Zakah tomorrow after Maghrib. Tomorrow after Maghrib, inshallah. I'm sorry?
I will be here.
Inshallah.
Over here tomorrow, right?
Here tomorrow after Maghrib, yes.
But there is another one on Dar al-Taqwa today, right?
Yeah. Dar al-Taqwa is tonight.
Tonight, 5:45.
Yes. Yes. I don't know what time exactly, 6 o'clock, yeah. But tonight, tomorrow night here, inshallah. They're going to get me confused. Tomorrow night here, inshallah, yes.
So it will be after the
Maghrib.
after the Maghrib.
After Maghrib. So after Maghrib is now 5:45 or so.
Yeah.
Pray Maghrib, I will start, inshallah.